We are now joined by LA Galaxy head coach Greg Vanney. We'll go ahead and start with questions with Josh Guessman.
Greg, allowing the first goal, but I don't know, maybe a weird start to this game. Can you, one, explain why they were looking at the soccer balls? Because I don't know that we knew the answer to that.
Yeah, weird start. The game sort of lacked like intensity in the early part of it. When the stop-start, everybody, all the players were complaining, if you will, and kind of stopping because they felt like the balls were flat. They weren't firm enough. So it was both teams that were feeling that way. So as soon as a guy or two hit the ball, then they would stop it, and they wanted to change the balls. We tried several. I don't think in the end they actually put any air on the balls. I think we just ended up getting on with it. They tested the pressure. They said it was 14. I don't know what it's supposed to be exactly, but and I think ultimately we just got on with it. But it took a little while to get there, and like I said, I don't know if that had all the effect, but I just felt like the game started flat and carried on flat until some point in the second half. I thought the intensity started to show, and it started to seem like a game that really kind of mattered. It took us, in my opinion, a little bit too long to get there because it was a big game for us tonight, and I felt like we needed to come here and try to impose ourselves on the game and show the value of the game, and it took us too long and two soft goals before I felt like we really we got there. Again, we miss a number of chances. So it was our formula where we give up soft goals and we don't finish off our opportunities, and then the day we leave very frustrated. And so that was the day again for us.
How disappointing is that, knowing that, you know, maybe a game in July shouldn't have a whole bunch of meaning in your season, but it does right now, and this is sort of the result of that?
Yeah, it's the facts of the situation, you know. We were playing the team that was in the ninth spot, and it's a Western Conference game, and we have momentum a little bit on our side after playing 2 home games and 2 wins and coming with the third, and it was important that, again, that we come out and try to establish. Both teams are going to be a little tired. It's the middle of the week. It's normal, but you just kind of fight through it and you get going, and it took us a little while to get going. Sometimes that can happen, but you can't give up goals while you're working through that process, and we, again, thought our lines got a little too far apart there a few times, and they played through us pretty easily in that first goal, and then we're down 1-0. Wanted to see more of a reaction. I think we saw a reaction later, but I wanted to see more of a reaction. Came out at second half. I thought we had a good start to the second half, had maybe a chance or two right off the bat to equalize. Weren't able to do it. And then the second goal was borderline ridiculous. I'm not exactly sure. I kind of felt like Zonka was trying to shield it. Could have cleared it, but he was kind of waiting for Novak. Novak was thinking he was going to clear it. Then he decides to come to the ball. It doesn't come with real conviction. In the end, it get poked away, and it ends up on the back of our net. Just, again, a situation that we need to take control of and ownership of. But it's frustrating, yeah, on a day. Based on the position where we are, every game is meaningful. It doesn't matter when it is or where it is or anything. And so it's unfortunate. Now we're going to have to find probably a difficult place to play along the way where we got to make up these points if we want to stay in this thing. Because today was an opportunity, I think, to really kind of try to get right back into it. And we still had a lot of work to do, but to get back into it, and that was a missed opportunity.
Hey, Greg, you talked about trying to find a way back. You got to go across town on Saturday. I mean, how do you sort of switch, get rid of this one to looking forward to Saturday and what's ahead with you guys?
Yeah, if nothing else, I hope, and I said this in the locker room, I hope the lesson of the day is we're a much better team when we play with a right level of intensity, and I think when we get there, we're a good team and we're hard to play against. When we kind of live in this sort of moderate intensity space, I feel like we're vulnerable. And so hopefully it's a reminder again that you can't go to LAFC and be in the middle ground intensity-wise. You got to show up with maximum intensity. I think everybody knows that. Everybody looks forward to this game. They know what's at stake. And so I think guys have to shake it off and turn around. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow. When they get out there Saturday, it's going to be about Saturday and about that 90 minutes. And I think our guys have been around long enough to know that, and tonight was a missed opportunity, but they got to move forward. I think, in that locker room, by the time we left, there was a lot of focus on what's in front of them.
And early on, Edwin got the yellow card within the first 3 minutes, whatever, and then maybe 2 minutes later, he probably should have got another yellow card, but he didn't. Did the first one, so you think, impact his play and then the team's play as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you're on the yellow card, especially that early in the game, it's going to modify some of your thought process, your decisions. So if he wouldn't have settled down, I was ready to change him at halftime. I thought towards the end of the first half, he kind of fell into the rhythm of the game, and that I could trust him for a little longer in the game, because I think he's an important piece for us. But yeah, anytime you get a card that early, it changes the way you play. Even if you saw Bureau, once he got his yellow card, he wouldn't get close to Gabe. He just kept backing off Gabe and trying to win time. So it does impact the way you play the game, and I thought for Eddie it did. But I think after a few minutes, I think he kind of resettled back in. But there's definitely some moments that he jumped out of some tackles or pulled out of some things where maybe he could have fouled the guy just because he, maybe would have stopped the transition or something, because he probably would have taken a yellow in there. So it definitely changed his game.
You think that second one?
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point in the game, it was probably fair enough that between the two of them, they equaled a yellow card. I'm going to leave it at that. There's some other moments in the game where I didn't necessarily fully agree with the calls or what happened, so I'll not overall assess the referee today.
Greg, thanks so much for your time. Julian took a nasty collision there. Do you have any kind of word on what the injury status is? Thank you.
I don't know exactly. I know obviously we made the sub for concussion safety reasons. It was a head injury, and he got hit kind of in the side of the face, so it's kind of swollen on his cheek. I haven't heard if they really established whether they feel like he had a concussion or if we were just being safe about it. So I don't know exactly yet. So.
Hey, Greg. Pencil today, he was just attacking the guy, and I think he could have done just a little bit more. Do you encourage him to just keep going at that guy because he had him all day?
Yeah, I'll say, as it relates to Joe, I never want him to slow down. I want Joe to stay at speed, whether that's picking up the ball and running at somebody, or if he decides to lay it off quickly and take off or run behind the lines. But the faster, the more direct Joe's game is, the more difficult he is to defend. And so I always want him building speed. I felt like he had the fullback on skates a bit today. Then it was a matter of how are the attacks going to finish, in terms of whether it was his decisions or our movements or things to turn some of those opportunities into chances. But I thought he was aggressive in the way that we need him to be aggressive over the course of the night. Gabe was aggressive too, just looking at the other side. He just didn't take the chances that he had fallen to him. But I thought both of them were trying to attack the game appropriately. Just it comes down to execution in that final action.
Hi, Greg. Miro Garces have done really well with Maya Yoshida in recent games, but with both of them, the team conceded just twice in the last 4 games. Big improvement from the 1.9 goals conceded on average. Tonight, Zonka stepped in, and we went right back to that average. Could you talk to us a little bit about what went behind that decision, and what did you see in the game?
Yeah, it was a calculation to make a rotation. Miro's sitting on 4 yellow cards at the moment. It's a calculation with 3 games in the week, knowing also that we play LAFC and they have Bouanga on the side that you have to defend. It's a little bit of a calculation of trying to protect him in some ways, hoping that our 2 veteran center backs can hold the fort down in a game like tonight at home against a team that is kind of missing their primary forward, and we didn't do it. So the calculation was wrong, and that's the facts. He'll stay on 4, but he's available for the game on the weekend. Yeah. So.
Greg, did you see the handball in the second half, the 55th minute?
I only saw it live. I haven't seen it in replay. The guys on the bench are definitely handball. There's certain things that still very much confuse me in the game. Handball is one of those. And I got more confused watching the World Cup, or the Club World Cup final. I got even more confused than I was before I watched that. So I don't know. I'd have to see it back again. But it seems like we were on a pretty good attack, and his hand sort of stopped the attack. And yeah, I don't know. I wish we would have got the call. But I don't know. The rule confuses me because I feel like it's one day it's one way, and the other day it's another.
Because it's a brace, and if the hand's going down to brace, is it still a handball? Is
Yeah, I think, again, if you're on the ground and you're a brace, maybe that's one thing, but if your arm's not on the ground and you block it, but evidently if you put your hand on top of the ball, that's also not a handball, because we saw that in the Gold Cup final, so I don't know all the ins and outs on that.
I think we have one question online.
Okay.
No. No hands.
Okay. Well, then that concludes
No
our
hands?
time with Greg.
Okay.
Thank
you,
you all so
everyone.
much.
We'll see
Thank
you.
for your time.